Are you feeling like your lead generation is burning you out and that you just don't know what you're going to do today or tomorrow or how you're going to find the time or energy to just keep it moving? Well, we got 5 tips for you that we're going to cover in today's episode of Real Estate Marketing and Coffee. So grab your pens, grab your paper, and maybe a hot cup of coffee or some water so you can enjoy the show. If this is your first time joining us, welcome. My name is Ed Troxell. I am a video coach with my lovely co-host, Amanda. Amanda, go ahead and quickly introduce yourself for everyone.
Hey, what's up? Good morning. I'm the Director of Client Care for Closer Pros, so handling all of your client nurture solutions and helping you get that repeat and referral business. So
yes, and today we are going to give you those 5 tips to help avoid burnout when you're prospecting, because let's face it, we all run into that, especially if we don't have these 5 steps that we're about to talk about, because we need it for our business. Whether you're a real estate agent, you're a business coach, you're a consultant, you're a speaker, whatever your business
whatever
is,
you are, yeah,
it applies.
Like I know even in the admin world in real estate, like there's some element of lead generation that we have. Right. We might not think about it as such, but there's an element of it that's there, whether you're third party or on a team. And so everything is lead generation. So finding those strategies and stuff that we're going to talk about today, I think is going to help really everybody.
Yeah. And also, I will say this, we're saying prospecting, but I'm also going to throw in networking, because these same principles, these same tips are going to apply for all of you out there trying to network your butts off. And you're not seeing a whole lot happen because you're just going from one networking event to the next, These are all going to apply because it all ties in. So right out of the gate, we'll start with the first one. This is one of my favorites, and we've talked about this before on previous episodes. If we sound like a broken record, because we are, and you probably need to hear it yet again. The first one, Amanda, what's that first one that we all need to do?
Setting those office hours, man. Really defining the time that you're going to work. And here's the kicker I'll throw in is sticking to it. Setting them, but then sticking to it. Because I am infamous for this. I'll set them and then I'm like, well, just today or just this week or just this month. And then before we know it, we're still back in the same habit of not having office hours. So setting them and then sticking to it.
Yes, thank you. Yes, office hours is huge. Ryan Perry's tuning in from LinkedIn. Thank you so much. Appreciate it. And yes, we have those office hours. We set those office hours for a reason. It's for us. It's for our boundaries. It's also for our clients and those prospects that we're going to be working with. It's basically the bare minimum of entry to work with us, right? We need to do that because it helps us avoid burnout for whatever we're doing in our business. And so setting general office hours is key. And I say general because Amanda and I were just talking about this prior to going live, is that you have your general office hours. So you're open Monday through Friday, 8 to 5, whatever you want to put. Obviously your schedule is going to be different and you're going to have your different times, but have your general office hours. Then you're going to want to have scheduled, dedicated time to be able to book your calls, ideally, as well as network. Now, this is tip number 2. So tip number 2 is schedule out time specifically for these key actions. Why is that? Why should we schedule out time? This is totally open for everyone to just think about. Amanda, you can obviously chime in, but why should we schedule dedicated time to booking our calls, for example?
Yeah. I mean, for me, it's as simple as that muscle memory, right? Like, when you work out, the more you practice, even if you're just practicing the rep, right? Your mind-body connection goes into that. This is what we do. This is how we do it. And so
this is how we do.
Yeah. You should definitely have the theme song playing in the back of your head as you do it.
There you go.
But it's the same thing, right? If you set your lead generation time block for, say, I think it should be the first thing, because agents, it's the most important part of your business. Every single day is generating business. And so in my opinion, why wouldn't you do it first? But let's say you set it from 9 to 12, then every day 9 to 12, you wake up and your body knows it's 9. That means we're making our calls. And the more you stick to it, the more you build that habit and the more it just becomes muscle memory, right? Like I've been doing this with working out. I wake up and I work out. It's now my habit. So now it's just what I do. It's what I might complain about doing it. I might not feel like doing it. This morning was one of them.
Yeah.
And I still muscle memory, right? I wake up and this is what we do right when we wake up. We wake up, we work out. And so that in the same way, as you build out those time blocks specifically for prospecting, you're holding yourself accountable to not doing it all day. You're holding yourself accountable to those office hours, but you're also holding yourself accountable to your time and to your results, because now you can easily see based on your business how much time you've spent lead generating, right? So when you have those set hours, you can actually say, okay, I spent 20 hours generating 5 leads. So now you know how to set your goals because you know how long it's going to take you to get leads, right? Yeah. But also you're sticking true to your boundaries. You're allowing for that work-life balance, and you're doing the most important thing first. So that's why I think people should schedule out their time, because it's productive, it's efficient.
And you protect your energy.
Yes.
Listen, that is such a big one. I've been doing so much networking, and I'm seeing it not only from myself, but others as well, especially those who are totally extroverted and are all about like going from one networking event to the next, is that, you know, like there's a lot. I need time in between, but
I need to recuperate.
Yeah. I know there's some of you that, you know, you go right on to the next, which is great. If that works for you, awesome. But you have to protect your energy, and scheduling specific times is going to help with that. Now, some of you are listening to this right now, whether you're on LinkedIn, Facebook, on the podcast, because it's available wherever you tune in on a podcast, is that you're going to be thinking, okay, well, this is great. In an ideal world, yes, I would love to schedule my networking time or my prospecting time, but my schedule's so crazy, Ed and Amanda, there's just no way it's going to work. I can't. Listen, you are in charge of your calendar. You are in charge of being able to set your office hours and be able to schedule these times. Now, is it going to work 100% every single time and fit in that box?
Totally.
No, of course not. Like,
yeah,
not always going to work out. But if you have these parameters, you know that you're going to try to get them into there. Just like Amanda said, when it comes to working out, we both really love to work out. So you're going to hear a lot of workout analogies and comparisons. But just like when you want to work out, you want to set the goal of, okay, I'm going to go 3 times this week, Monday, Wednesday, Friday, 8 a.m. to 12, which actually is a really long time. Let's do 8.
I was like, man, overachiever here. Golly. I spent 12 hours in the gym a week.
Well, if I'm being honest, when I go to the gym, the first 45 minutes, I'm actually working with business stuff. Like I actually don't work out with weights and stuff until probably like 50 minutes in. 60.
Okay. So for you, it might be 4 hours.
Yeah. So, you know, you might catch me on the elliptical or the treadmill, you know, working while running and doing all that stuff. But anyway, what we're trying to say is that when it comes to your time blocking and office hours, it's there for a reason. And it's a reminder for yourself and for those that are trying to work with you or who already are working with you that you have limits.
Yep.
And if you go outside of those limits, well, then it's a bonus for them.
Yep.
It's no longer a requirement that they expect from you. It's an value add.
Yep.
Oh, Amanda's going outside her office hours because she normally cuts off at
showing
6.
up for me.
But she's showing up for me. It's 8 o'clock on a Monday evening. She's showing up for me. I respect her more.
Totally. Well, and everyone in my space knows that this is the principle I believe in the most, is what you build it on, you must maintain it on, right? And you have the right to change your mind and you have the right to pivot, but what you build it on and the expectations that you set from the get-go are what people are going to grow to expect. And so you're either going to have a hard conversation that might not end in a way that you want in order to pivot that. But I just think about that when I think of setting that time, like what you build it on, you must maintain it on. Your body's going to start to expect it. Your clients are going to start to expect it. Your leads are going to start to expect it. Like everything about your business will start to show up in a better way because you're building it on a habit. And so I think about those things when I think about client expectations, like in office hours, right? It makes a lot of sense to me because I'm protecting my energy, like we're talking about. and I'm giving them my best. I'm telling them when my best version of myself will be. Right. So if me showing homes in the afternoon is the best use of, like, if I'm not awake enough in the morning to show homes and be a good showing specialist as an agent, I'm not going to schedule homes in the morning if I can help it. Right. I know life happens. I know clients maybe, only can see from 8 to 10, whatever the case may be. But I'm going to schedule my specific times, especially my lead generation, where I have the most energy so that I can give them the best version of me. And so that's where that self-awareness about who you are is so key. But if I know that I am my best version for my prospecting, like I wake up guns a-blazing, I'm going to schedule my lead generation first thing in the morning because it's most important and I have the most energy then. If I am more bubbly in the afternoon, I'm going to schedule my time blocks accordingly so that I can, when I need to be bubbly, I'm going to be bubbly.
Exactly. And here's a bonus for everyone tuning in. We're talking about office hours. We're talking about prospecting. We're talking about networking. I'm also going to throw in your social media and your emailing, because I think we all feel the need to be on 24/7. Part of it's FOMO. Part of it is, if we don't, somebody else is going to, take the business from us or whatever. And there's a lot around that, but we need to remember that setting these boundaries is healthy for us and those around us. And especially when it comes to social media, because I know a lot of you are thinking, I don't have time for social. I don't want to post. I don't want to record my videos, because let's face it, you're still not recording your videos. I know, because I see and I don't see those videos.
I'm watching.
Yes. But it's one of those things that we have to set these boundaries, and it really does help us with our energy and with our time and the time that we spend doing other things that we actually love doing. And like you said, being the best version of yourself. I'm even trying to do that with email. I'm on email like you're on text message, right? Like most agents are like texting like fast and furious, and they're on call 24/7. That's how I feel when I talk about email, which most people hate email. It's because you don't have a system in place for it. But once you love email, that's the same idea. And the trouble with it is that if you're in the moment and you quickly respond, sometimes, and you're being rushed, sometimes that response may not be the best version of yourself. And you already sent it and you can't unsend it. So same thing with text or calls or whatever. I was just telling you, Amanda, that one of my very close friends had taken the advice that I shared with them about setting office hours. They implemented it, and within the first week, they were already texting me and thanking me because it helped them be a better version of themselves for where they were showing up and what they were doing. And for them, it brought them so much more peace, because up to that point, they were stressed out, overworked, having meltdowns, and it wasn't just affecting them, it was affecting their family. And so it goes so much bigger than us.
Well, and these principles all apply, and we'll get to the third one here perfectly, because you just segued it amazingly.
I learned from you.
Yeah.
I try.
I'm the expert here. Unintentional expert. But it trickles down to every area of your life. And so having these office hours, set personal hours, self-care hours, like, set the times that you do the most important things, like all of these principles apply in both business and in life. And really the goal of what we're trying to talk about today is that work-life balance, right? Having that ebb and flow of life so that you're able to be successful and to feel successful. To me, that's a huge difference, right? Because there's so many people that are successful, but they don't feel it because they're on that hustle, never-ending rabbit wheel, right? But when you can have the boundaries in conjunction with the hustle, you create that work-life balance that really allows you to enjoy the success and what you're building and creating. But to talk about how this applies everywhere, it boils down to our favorite word, Ed, is systems, right? Systems, right? And I think the key when we talk about prospecting, and this is where I find that most agents fly by the seam of their pants, which makes me go, like internally, I just want to hide in a hole because I'm like, why? Why wouldn't you put a system to this? Because when you know who to call and when to call, everything becomes easier, right? If I know that I call Ed once a month and I called him February 1st and it's now March 1st, I know it's time to call Ed again, right? And I can keep track of that. And that can be as simple as a spreadsheet all the way down to a CRM system to all kinds of different project management.
System.
Yeah.
Yep.
I mean, there's so many different ways that you can leverage that, but having a system in place that tells you who to call and when, and to keep track of the communication, to me is so important. Like, I don't understand why you wouldn't even just leverage a spreadsheet that said, Ed, I call him monthly. Last call was this date. Here's the last note. Like, it can be that simple, but that way you can, on a once a month basis, go in and call your people, or on a however frequently you need to, but know who to call and know when to call.
Yes. And don't just call because you need a sale. Like,
yes.
That's the other thing. So right before this episode, actually, I got an email from someone, one of the programs I use. They sent me an email, and it was from my dedicated customer success manager, who not only sent me an email checking in to see how I was doing and how I was using their system. And because I had been using it for a while now, they knew that I'd been using it for a while because they took notes of when I started their using their program. And then not only that, it was a video message. So there'll be more episodes around this part, but just understand that you can bring things alive and use that video. And I will tell you, rather than me pushing that email off and maybe answering it later, kind of like those surveys or those newsletters you signed up for, you're like, well, maybe I'll reply to them someday. Never comes. I ended up replying right away because the video was short, and the end of the video, she was excited to hear what I was up to and how I was using their product.
Yeah.
It wasn't, hey, I'm trying to buy something from you or whatever. It was, I'm excited to hear from you. So for me, I was like, oh,
she wants to hear from me. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, and I love that because to me, this email is a perfect mesh of both of our worlds, right?
Yes.
Hey, video makes things feel more personal, right? It's a great touch. It's an incredible way to really feel relatable, personable, to make you as a human stand out. Like, that's the game of sales, right? Is who's more unique, who stands out to me the most. Like, it's not anything other than that. So why wouldn't you want to do a video? And then it's caring beyond just the commission. That's what I preach about with agents, but it's so true with business and friendship, really everything. Care beyond just what they can give you. Like, have that compassion and that care for the human. And that's when you create the beauty in business, right? Like, the clients that I work with that have built that care with their clientele from transaction and beyond are the clients that are easiest for me to step into working with. And I can always tell because they know that their agents are going to call.
Yeah.
And so I'm thinking of one client I have in particular. They already did the legwork, right? They had already been following up with their database. And because of the business that they had generated, because they followed up with their past clients and sphere of influence on a nurture basis, so past just when they were buying and selling, these people grew to expect their calls. So when I call, now they're like, oh, hey, yeah. And now the business just works for itself, right? They don't have to lead generate anymore. The business is generating leads on its own. They just get to go and sell houses, right? It's perfect. But adding that personal touch, and this goes to prospecting too. Like, there's a lot of text messages, a lot of voicemails, a lot of emails. How are you going to separate yourself when prospecting and have a system for that? Right? So not even just a system for your follow-up, but what are you following up with? What kind of touches are you doing? What's working? What's not? Having those systems in place to tell you what's working. Like, maybe your video messages get so much attention. Then why wouldn't you start leveraging that? Maybe you're incredible on camera and you get more feedback when you add a video into your email. And so start adding videos into every email and see how that shifts your business.
Yes.
Or, maybe every time you call and say, hey, it's the first of the month, I wanted to I don't know, whatever your system
Check in.
is, you
You can
know,
just check in. Like, that's
I
the
wanted to
thing.
check in. I was thinking of you. Yeah.
Yeah, that's
You
the
don't have
thing.
to make it weird. You don't have to make it salesy. Like prospecting and lead generation can be,
A conversation.
yep,
It's just a
that's
conversation.
it.
Like, that's what marketing's about. That's what being on
Mhm.
social media is about. It's
Yes.
about starting or joining the
Yeah.
conversation. That's all it is. And that ties into tip number 4, which is
Oh,
research
perfect.
prior to your calls. Like, look at your systems,
Mhm.
at the notes that you took from the last call.
Oh gosh, yes. This I am huge on because the number
Yeah.
of times I get into agents' databases and have no concept of who this human is that picks up the phone. It just says Ed Troxell. And I'm like, hi, Ed. This is Amanda calling on behalf of whoever. And
Yeah.
I have nothing to go off of, which is fine. I'll wing it, right? Like I'll not wing it, but like I know how to
Yeah.
start conversations in that way. But when I have something there that tells me like, hey, Ed was Ed just bought with us in 2020, is thinking of remodeling. Now, when I get you on the phone, I can say, hey, Ed, I'm just calling to check in. I know last time we spoke, it looked like you were remodeling, and I just wanted to see, is there anything you need that we can do? What
Yeah.
a better conversation that is, right? Like that fuels the conversation. And agents, here's my pro tip for you is you guys spend a lot of money on leads. Make sure the leads that you're spending money on are in a way that you can actually get good data and feedback. So systems like Boomtown, where you can actually live time see what a lead is looking at, like the houses they're looking at, the ranges of price that they're looking at.
Ooh.
And not even just Boomtown,
Oh,
Brivity,
yeah.
there's so many of them that do this, right? But having those types of tools in place will help you so much. So as you're looking at paying for leads and that type of stuff, and generating business, use that to fuel your conversation. Back when I
Yes.
was an ISA, it was the easiest conversation I got to have because I could see that Ed was looking at 123 Main Street, 124 Main Street, and 125 Main Street 3 minutes ago. So I could call him and say, hey, Ed, I see that you're on the site now looking at homes in Everett, Washington. And I see that the price range you're looking in is about the 550 range. Is that because you've been pre-approved? Like my conversation was so easy because I had all the data there.
Yes. And here's one step further. If they didn't answer the phone, or maybe they prefer text because in the notes that they prefer text messages,
yep.
How cool would it be if you sent them a quick 30-second, 15-second video saying that exact same thing? Now I have
Totally.
a face, I have a voice, and I know a history.
Totally.
Like that is so, so powerful. Like, and I know we're getting close on time and we still have number 5 to go to here in a second, but real quick, I was talking to someone the other day and they're an expert in podcasting, and we were talking about, how we do the show live here on Facebook and LinkedIn, and then we repurpose it to a podcast. And they were saying that even today, and I know a lot of people are doing this more now, the style that we're doing, but they were saying that they have seen so many people do the same thing. Even if they don't air the live footage, they just do a Zoom recording or whatever. And so they want everyone to be good on camera because you have to be these days, whether you're doing it live publicly or you're pre-recording an episode, you're still going to be on camera. Almost all podcasters are doing this these days. And so same thing with agents, like start embracing video and use it in different ways that allow you to be more personal one-on-one with somebody.
Totally. And I just think anytime you can be personable, anytime.
And
so if that's video or voice note, whatever.
And that ties into number 5 here, which is a big one. And this is, again, goes back to your systems, because if you do this properly, you will have notes without actually having to go do all the work to get those notes. What I mean by that is when you are getting people on your calendar, if you're using a system, you can ask them specific questions prior to them booking, as well as after they book. So, for example, if you were to just book just a regular call with me, just to connect with me, I'm asking your typical Facebook. I'm asking your typical first name, last name, and email, right? Because those are really the three that I need. I honestly don't really need your phone number because that I just don't need it. But then I also have a spot for what would you like to discuss? Now, of course, all these questions can be changed or improved.
Totally.
I'm just sharing this as examples because what I see a lot, especially in the online coaching space and everything, is that you all are asking for the first name and the last name, but you're missing these questions that are going to help you have a better conversation
Totally.
and get better data. And so the other things that I ask, this is a big one. Everyone should be asking this question, whether it's when someone's booking on your calendar or somebody emails you and they came out of the blue. You should be asking this question. How did you find me?
That's good, because then you know what's working.
Exactly.
Generation, yeah.
And so you can have just a blank space for them to type in there, or I provide a few options. And then I'll ask them if they want to be on my email list because I send out a weekly email. That's just a basic, simple form that somebody has to fill out. Then once they're on there, they're going to get another email later that has a more detailed questions because I need to do some of that work ahead of time before we get on to make the most of our time together.
Well, and I think about it like in my lane and in agent's lane, I just recently started implementing this in my business. I haven't executed it, but I've, got the steps in place, right? Because I realized I was having conversations with people who weren't actually ready for client care services because for a few reasons. One, they either didn't understand what client care was. They had a different idea of it, right? Number two, they either didn't have enough business or were hoping it would generate leads for them to get business, right? Which I'm not your solution then, right? You need an ISA or you need to just buckle down and do the lead gen. Like I am your long-term solution, not your right now fix, right? And so I was wasting so much time on these calls with these people who just weren't ready for client care. And it wasn't to say they're not ever going to be ready. It wasn't a definite no, but it's you either don't have the budget to really make client care worth your while right now. And I'm not going to get into business with people like that. Like I don't want to take your money when you're not going to have a benefit for it. That's not my heart. My heart is to come from, it's our Closer Pros values, service, support, and growth. And that means something to me. But I got to really start to have these answers on the front end of like, what does your business look like? What are you hoping to get out of client care? What's your biggest pain point right now? What's your stop doing list? Like that would tell me what they wanted, right? And we do this on the transaction coordination side too. When agents want to hire one of our transaction coordinators on the team, Christina always asks them, tell me your stop doing list. Because this is going to tell her immediately if they're looking for a transaction coordinator or if they're looking for an assistant, right? If they start adding all this additional information that's not under our wheelhouse, we know they're going to ask us anyways, right? So then we can fuel the conversation on the phone and say, hey, it sounds like you actually want an assistant, not a transaction coordinator. So here's what a TC does. Now, does this going to work for you third party? So it's a really great way to get that data and that information. But I think about this for agents, like there's only so much time in a day, right? Especially if you're holding true to those office hours. So why wouldn't you want to get more data on the front end instead of spinning your wheels and being on that hamster, wheel or the rabbit wheel and just chasing people that might not ever pan out, right? Like if they're not pre-approved, they're not serious buyers. So why are you going to meet with them, right? So instead, maybe you have something in place, whether on the phone or a questionnaire like Ed does, that says, are you pre-approved? Yep. If not, do you plan to be? Like, tell me where you're at with this. And then that way I can have the conversation on the phone instead of meeting you at my office and preparing a booklet or whatever, like going through all of this time if you're not really a serious buyer, right?
Exactly.
And so there's so much that you should do on the front end, so much that's easy and simple that's going to save you time in the long run.
Exactly. And it goes back to those systems. So as we wrap up here, let's do a quick rundown of the top 5 lead generation tips that we have to help avoid burnout. Amanda, what was number 1?
Set those office hours and stick to them. I'm changing it a little.
Yes, stick to those office hours as much as possible.
Yeah.
Number 2 is schedule time each day or throughout your day, or sorry, each day or on specific days to do certain tasks, whether it's calls, emails, social media posts, engaging on social media, networking, whatever it is, time block and make sure that that's part of those office hours that you're setting. You have your general office hours, and then you have your office hours for those specific tasks. Number 3, Amanda.
Have systems in place for follow-up.
Yes, our favorite.
If you don't know what this should look like in your business, call me. I would love to have a conversation with you. Not to sell you on anything other than just to say, here's the systems that you should have in place. And Ed and I know a ton of resources that we both leverage for this, but have the systems in place and call us if you need help. Because seriously, that one key will change your prospecting game, having 100%. The systems in place.
Yes. Reach out to Amanda. She's got you. Number 4 is research prior to your calls. This is going to make you so much better on those calls. You're going to feel more comfortable, more confident. You're going to have actual things to talk about with that prospect. So it's really, really important. And what was number 5? That was a big one.
Asking those specific questions. So whatever it is, the data you need prior to your call, asking that on the front end so that you know, just so that you have a better conversation, a higher level conversation, and that you're more efficient and saving your time. So if they're not a right now person, you know that, and you can say that.
And remember that when you actually use the systems that you are putting in place, it's working for you. So it is your assistant. You can look at it as your assistant, and you're getting that information that's going to be saved to the notes for that person, so that you or whoever works for you is always going to be able to reference that, add to it, and it works basically in the background when you're not actually on the call with them. So
totally
understand that it's so, so important to find a system that works for you and will actually help you move forward in your business.
And you might think you're going to remember. You're not. I promise you. I call so many different databases. I have a really good memory and I don't remember. And some of these people, even my own people, I'm like, oh crap, I forgot about X, Y, and Z. Like, it happens when you talk to a lot of people. So don't rely on your brain, rely on a system, free up your brain space and power. Yeah.
Why would you want to waste that energy
exactly
trying to go through your mental Rolodex? Like, I much rather know that I can go to my project management system, click on CRM, find the person's name, and hello, here's all my information that I took probably way too much notes for, but guess what? It's there. I didn't have to remember.
Totally. This actually recently happened with an agent friend of mine who mixed up one of my other agent friends had sent a referral to them. A referral of a client. And so the agent had mixed up the information about them. And I don't know if they wrote it in the wrong system or what happened, but they mixed information up about their clients and they ended up losing the lead over it. Right. So this was a person's personal referral. And so they were not happy. Right. Because they were like, oh my gosh, you dropped the ball because you told me wrong information about the wrong client. And so I got onto my lead and said, why are you doing this? And it was the wrong client. And so they ended up losing the lead entirely.
Yep. And that will
But it's
happen
because they don't have the follow-up in place, right?
Yep.
So,
all right. Well, that was your 5 tips to help avoid burnout with your prospecting and networking here in 2022. Feel free to drop a comment wherever you're watching this, whether it's Facebook, LinkedIn, YouTube, whatever. If you're listening on the podcast, awesome. Be sure to reach out to Amanda and I over on social. You can find us everywhere and connect with us. So that way we can actually have a real conversation with you.
Yeah.
And if you need anything, always feel free to reach out. And then we'll be back next Monday, 8 a.m. Pacific, here live on Facebook and LinkedIn. Take care, everyone.
See ya.